did to us.
It's been a very big, quick learning curve.
Brilliant,
My goodness me.
Jody Morris getting a yellow card for the first time in 16 years.
Love it.
Love it.
Absolutely love it. Nothing wrong with that.
Proper European performance.
Yeah.
Against a good side. Nobody's beaten that lot in their own backyard in the Champions League for
17
5
matches.
years.
Yeah.
5 years, Jonathan.
Yeah, I know.
Astonishing.
That's why I got tearful.
Apart from Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah. But that was completely.
But that doesn't count because it was Spurs.
Unexpected. Yeah.
And it was a draw as well, wasn't it? I don't even think they actually beat
draw?
them on the night.
No,
I think it was
fair play.
An
I think you could be right.
Fellas, we've barely scratched the surface. Plenty more to talk about with regards to that victory over Ajax. We're going to get onto that next.
Giving your team the coverage they deserve. Love Sport Radio. Listen to Love Sport Radio on your smartphone today. Simply download the free Love Sport app from the App Store or Google Play. Tap the play button and you'll be able to listen to your favourite station. Anytime, anywhere. Love Sport Radio, the station giving fans a voice.
You all right, mate?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah? Really? It's just, there's a massive grizzly bear sitting on you. You sure you're okay?
Well, now that you mention it.
Sometimes we say we're fine when we're not. But with 1 in 4 experiencing a mental health problem, if your mate says he's fine, he might not be. Be in your mate's corner and ask twice. Time to change.
If you're in business, I bet you hate wasting money. We Do Taxi Tops can help you achieve minimum wastage on your advertising costs and maximum exposure. Our revolutionary taxi tops can target your potential customers in the right place at the right time, so your message has the greatest potential for making an impact. We Do Taxi Tops. Visit WEDOOH.com. We Do. The smarter, quicker way of advertising in London, supporting London businesses of all sizes.
Are you paying way too much for your energy bills? A spokesman said could help you save big money. With electricity costs continuing to rise, you could save hundreds of pounds by shopping around. Just go to aspokesmansaid.com and look for the very best value energy deals on the market. Don't waste your hard-earned cash. You could be on a much cheaper deal. Go to aspokesmansaid.com.
Fighting for you, saving you money.
Before you set off on a long journey, remember to check your vehicle. Are your tyres correctly inflated? And are the treads deep enough? Have you got enough fuel? Is your oil level right? Checking your vehicle doesn't take long, but can prevent a breakdown or accident. And save you money. So, before you set off on a long journey, check your tyres, fuel and oil. Highways England, connecting the country.
This is Love Sport.
It is the Chelsea Fan Show on Love Sport. Myself, Matt Beadle, here with the boys from the Chelsea FANCAST, Stamford Chidge, temporarily Johnny Burrow, who's come in to take his water bottle.
Johnny B, there's only one Johnny B.
And Jonathan Kidd as well.
Kiddo.
We are reflecting on that fantastic victory in Amsterdam during the week of Champions League victory, of course. Michy Batshuayi scoring late on to give the Blues...
Have you heard my Batshuayi song?
Go on.
What I can remember, it's got 1, 2, 3. Batshuayi, I like it, Batshuayi, I like it,
Has anybody else sung this song?
About 10 of us.
Yeah.
At any one given
No one's
time.
caught. No one's caught on. No.
I think Pablo invented that.
It's excellent.
Brilliant.
But it hasn't happened.
No, Pablo, bassist in The Beautiful Game, and a very good friend.
So he's been there, since 2016 now?
We invented it a long time ago.
Crikey, that should have caught on. I like it.
I don't think he's played often enough, and he was Batman. They like that one as well, don't they? Yeah, that one hasn't caught on either.
No.
Which is a shame because Spackman. That did. Yeah.
Well remembered.
Yeah. I love Spackman.
Yeah, he was a great player.
Yeah. He punched Martin Keown out once.
He did. It
And
was
I
wonderful.
love him forever for that moment. It's on YouTube.
He unfortunately said
spark out.
He unfortunately said that when he's playing for Liverpool, Chelsea will never be a great club.
Yeah. But you know they're all
had to say it.
But don't you know this? When they go to Liverpool, they're handed a script of what they have to say, right? And actually, very appropriate because I am wearing my Joey Cole. He's here, he's there. We're not allowed to swear. Don't worry, Matt. T-shirts. There you go on candid camera. And, of course, when Joe Cole went, they said, well, it's always been my boyhood club. I've loved them forever. I've always wanted to play for them.
Right, yeah.
I was a boyhood fan. They're the greatest club in the world. Yeah. This is not a cult, and I haven't been injected with a serum that makes me talk rubbish, basically.
Yes, that's very well observed.
It's brilliant, isn't it, it's like when Graziano Pella moved to China, I think, for the first time. All those images came out. Oh, I've wanted this shirt since I was a boy. One of the first shirts I had.
Well, Robbie Keane was the best for that, wasn't he? Wherever he went, that's my boyhood club. Yeah. I just love Robbie Keane for that. LA, whatever they were. My boyhood club. I've always been a fan. I just love it. It's become a parody in a sense, isn't it? But there you go.
Well, gents, we have a caller.
We have.
Daniel is on the line. Wants to discuss Frank Lampard and Roman Abramovich. Daniel, how are you doing?
Hello. Yes. Good evening, gentlemen. My name's Daniel Francisco.
I love you, Dan. You know how much we love you because we used to sing your song, didn't we? Dan Francisco.
You did.
Yeah, remember
Can
that?
I just say it's an absolute pleasure to talk to you, Dave and Jonathan.
Oh, you too, mate.
And you too.
The legend of the Chelsea Fancast who keep us all sane on a Monday after we've had Sky Sports suck us dry all Saturday and Sunday with their punditry and commiserations, as they would say, for they wanting the red people to win all the silverware.
Excellent stuff.
Anyway,
so you wanted to talk about Super Frankie Lampard, didn't you?
I did, yeah, I did. I was just sort of about his journey, to be fair. I mean, we've got to put it all down to Roman, really. I don't think Roman, I know it was his birthday the other day, he doesn't get enough credit, the man, what he's doing. I know he's exiled from the country, blah, blah, or whatever at the moment. But what that man did straight away, and he's a businessman, and he invested straight away in that youth academy. And all I keep seeing on Twitter lately is all these pictures of Ruben and Show and Mount as young boys standing with Roman, in the academy and all that. And I believe, he's a genius businessman. He knows what he's doing. He always has a direction, right? And no one gives him enough credit for it ever. And he's got us where we are right now. And as an owner, I don't think there's a single football club in the country. And I used to get, when I live on Merseyside, so I used to speak a lot. I used to speak to a lot of scousers. Now, believe me, 10, 15 years ago, they were saying things to me like, oh, Danny, you've bought the league, you've bought the title, blah, blah, blah. And I used to go to them, hang on a minute, Alan, hang on a minute, so-and-so. I go, 10 years' time, I said, we'll have a level playing field. I said, everyone will have money. We'll all be set up like the American model and all that. That's the way it's going. And then it'll all be about what you do with that money and how you invest it and who you buy and who you waste money on. And my God, has Roman done such a fantastic job for Chelsea Football Club.
He has, doesn't he? Dan, he has, mate. And I mean, I agree with you, actually. I think when you think how long he's been at the club, the amount of money he's put in, the success that we've had, I think it's easy for us as supporters to get complacent about that. And I think you're right. We should say happy birthday, Roman, because I know he listens every week. Happy birthday, Fiesta.
Of course he does.
I think, do you know? Well, of course he does. I mean, you don't doubt that, do you, Dan? Anyway, seriously, mate. Look, the point is, I think you're right. Actually, I think what Roman does best, I think he's very shrewd at taking the temperature of the supporters. Sometimes he doesn't always get it right. Rafa, massive mistake. But he does. I mean, but what did he do after Rafa? But he brought Mourinho back. He got it wrong. He got it wrong with Sarri in many respects. Okay, we all know that there were other reasons why maybe Lampard got this gig. Perhaps we wouldn't have been able to get one of the kind of elite level European managers that we normally do. But I think Roman knew. I think he knew that's what we needed. And boy, has he been proven right with this appointment of Frank.
Yeah. I think the club, when Roman first came in, I think the club was at a crossroads. And he done really well with what he did at the time. He was the first big investor in English Premier League football. And I think right now he's at another crossroads where he's now seeing, after 2012, when we won the Champions League, and it's like we've had manager after manager, and he's now realising that this academy, that the grassroots, which is the grassroots of your football club, for the fans anyway. And they're going to keep you. They're going to play for the badge, and he can see that now because after 2012, we've sort of, we did win a couple of league titles, which was, we're not going to begrudge him that, or our club, or our fans. But now the future's like, right, okay, what do we do from here? Because he's not going to waste any more money because the market's gone silly.
Yeah.
And I see our players now in that academy. They know they've got an avenue to play for that first team, and you can see it in all of them raising their game.
I think that's one of the advantages, Daniel, of the transfer ban is that there is now a route through for the youth, and it'll encourage them even more to attempt to play for the club. And so many of these poor boys who went by the wayside wanted to play for the first team, and it didn't happen because the new manager, whoever it was, would come in and want their own particular players, and who would then therefore buy 3 or 4 stars in their mind, or players that they felt were going to make it work from their experience, thus denying any of the youth an opportunity to get in. But I know for a fact that he's been spending so much money on the youth that of course he's been attempting to allow them to have an opportunity to come through. So this Frank, of course, and Jody are the perfect perpetrators of that. They're the perfect people because of their history with the club, and Jody knowing all the youth anyway. So it's been the perfect combination. But there was the possibility of it not working, and we were prepared to. After the 4-0 win at the beginning, we were thinking, well, we'll see. We'll finish 10th this season. We'll see what happens. It's going to be a season of event. We'd have been happy. We'd have been happy with that. But we're now looking at something that it looks on the verge of excellence. It is excellent.
Dan, what did you think of the Champions League match on Wednesday? Because we were just saying before you came, you phoned us up that was the best performance of the season, and they've just learned so quickly, don't they?
You did. I totally agree with Jonathan. It was like watching a different Chelsea team from last season. I know they said that that we were supposed to have at least a few couple of seasons, to get this team, and you just look at that side from. The team that battled for 90 minutes in that game on Wednesday, compared to the side that was just very complacent last season and very confused.
I think they were utterly confused. I think you're absolutely right there, Daniel. I think it was. I'm not sure they were complacent. I think they were all itching inside to get it right.
No. I went to a few away games. I agree with you, Jonathan. I went to a few away games last season, even at Liverpool, Everton, and all that. And you see it when you go to the game, as you know. And it just looked like confusion on the pitch. Willian didn't look the same. Even Hazard didn't look the same.
I think it was that playing in the straitjacket, as we kept saying. They were given roles to play, and they found it very difficult to do it, other than towards the end of the season, of course.
They were overloaded with all this Saudi ball and blah, blah, blah. And you got to weigh up, and you go, these are simple footballers. You know what I mean? There's only so much you can tell them.
That's true.
Indeed. Daniel, it's been absolutely great having you on. Thank you very much for calling in.
Thank you, Daniel.
Brilliant to speak to you. Brilliant to speak.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I just say a big thank you to Jonathan and Dave, who absolutely keep me going on the Monday night.
You are lovely. Thank you, mate. Thank you so much.
All right, honestly, and all the pods. I mean, it's from all the clubs out there. Keep the fans going. All right? And that's what we need to hear.
Dan, it's a delight speaking to you after all these years, mate. It's far too long. One day we'll have a beer at a game, and that'd be even better.
We will. I can't wait, mate. Guinness is on me, mate.
Lovely. I look forward to it, Dan. You take care, pal.
Yeah.
Lovely stuff, Daniel Francisco. Guinness on him with some celery sticking out the top. That's the
Chelsea
logo,
cocktail,
right?
Mate.
There we go.
Chelsea cocktail.
Lovely stuff.
I'm allowed to say cocktail, aren't I?
You're allowed to say cocktail. This is the Chelsea Fan Show on Love Sport. Back in a moment.
Love Sport.
Pets are part of the family, but vet bills can spiral out of control. You shouldn't have to choose between treating your sick pet and putting food on the table. A spokesmansaid.com can find the best pet insurance deals for you.
The spokesmansaid.com. Fighting for you, saving you money.
You're in leakage, you're in leakage. You're in leakage, you're in leakage. You're in leakage. You're in leakage, you're in leakage.
Tenna men.
Cage.
Pants and pads.
You're
discreet. Masculine.
You're
secure absorption zone. Buy online or in shops.
You're in
Tenna men. Keep control.
You're in?
No.
Get ready for Brexit on the 31st of October. Find out what you need to do to prepare at gov.uk/Brexit.
If you fall asleep at the wheel, you'll put your life in danger, and the lives of others as well. Before you feel tired, pull off the road into a services or other safe area. Drink some strong coffee, and take a quick nap while the caffeine kicks in.
If you're having a nap, you've left your lights on, sir.
All right, cheers.
Think. Don't drive tired.
Don't get caught out in the great energy price hike as large firms look to charge you more. If you want to save money on your energy bills, it's not too late to see what's on the market. With rising gas and electricity bills, don't get caught out wasting your money on expensive tariffs. A Spokesman Said will show you the very best value deals available. Check out aspokesmansaid.com and you could be using your savings to put towards a well-earned holiday.
With aspokesmansaid.com. Fighting for you, saving you money.
If you see somebody showing any of the signs of a stroke, you don't have to think about it, you just dial 999. Use the FAST test. F. Face. Has their face fallen on one side? Can they smile? A. Arms. Can they raise both arms and keep them there? S. Speech. Is their speech slurred? T. Time. Time to call 999 if you see any one of these signs. Act fast, make the call, dial 999.
Join me, Ewan Thomas, on Love Sport Weekend Breakfast this Saturday, bringing you unmissable, unofficial coverage of England versus New Zealand. Plus, there's a massive weekend of football too, all here on Love Sport. That's Love Sport Weekend Breakfast this Saturday from 8.
Love Sport. This is Love Sport.
This is Love Sport, the Chelsea fan show, no less, on Love Sport. Myself, Matt Beadle, here with the guys from the Chelsea FANCAST, Stamford Chidge and Jonathan Kidd.
What a great call. I enjoyed that.
Brilliant from Daniel
Brilliant. More of that,
Francisco.
please.
You said I haven't seen you in a long time, or not spoken to you in a long time.
I've not met Dan, but I know he's been a listener of the Chelsea FANCAST since we've been going for 11 years. He's been there pretty much since the beginning. So I've conversed with him on Facebook and Twitter and all sorts of stuff. He's written in emails to us and stuff. Yeah, and he goes to games, but he lives in Liverpool, so you tend to catch him at more of the away games up north than you will down here. So I haven't actually met him yet, but I'd love to. He's a lovely bloke. So.
Sounds it. I was not aware you've been going for 11 years.
11 years, mate. 12 years next April.
Really? You must be one of the early pioneers of
We're
the
daddies,
Football Club
mate.
podcast.
I'm known as the Podfather for that very reason.
There we go.
And I used to do vlogs 15 years ago.
Yeah. Before they were even called vlogs.
Before YouTube existed. No. And I put them on there at the beginning and had thousands of followers, but also abused horrendously.
Oh, yeah, comes with the territory.
Right? Now he has hundreds of thousands of followers and is
abused double fold.
Bemused.
Yeah.
He's bemused.
Yeah.
He's abused even more.
Yeah.
Now you get a lot of love, man, because you're on the Chelsea FANCAST.
Of course,
you get a lot
it's
of
through
love.
you. Yeah. Because I was on my own. I
spread the love, man.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. You put in a good word for me.
I do. I said he's a bit weird, but he's all right.
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
Did you see the joke on Twitter this week about
with
the cake?
Yeah, saying it should be Jonathan.
See, you're
Kidd.
famous. This is somebody you don't even know. Who said, "I bet Jonathan." There was basically a picture on Twitter of some bloke cutting up cake in the Johnny Haynes stand in Fulham.
Right.
Yeah, and somebody said, "Oh, I haven't met him, but I bet you that's the kind of thing that Jonathan Kidd would do." And I wrote back, because I do know the bloke who wrote it. I said, "Yeah, but actually he'd get sop with his butler to give it to him on a silver platter in the East Stand."
And I said it would have to be gluten free.
It would. Yes, indeed.
Of course, yeah.
Anyway, we digress, man.
We do. Well, hey, we always love talking about cake on the Chelsea FANCAST.
It's
not
like
a problem.
Test match special, but not.
We are going to speak to Chris Bowden shortly, the Burnley Express sports editor, about the game in the weekend. But I just want to finish up on the clash in Amsterdam first. Couple of things to know. I think the super subs and that tactical change from Frank Lampard in bringing on Christian Pulisic and Michy Batshuayi was
changed
brilliant.
the game.
Absolutely changed the game.
Well, did it change? I don't think it changed the game. I mean, obviously, technically it did because we won 1-0, but it just gave them more impetus. This is a point that was made by good old Glenn Hoddle and Joe Cole after the game. But the fact that Chelsea in the 86th minute were still looking to win that game, and that Marcus Alonso was in the box involved in the goal.
Yeah,
the left
doing
back.
the dummy. Yeah,
with a very, very skillful dummy.
Yeah,
I think everything about it, the run from Pulisic, who'd come on and made a number of direct runs before.
Brilliant impact.
I'm not going to blow my own trumpet here, but when he first arrived, I did say on this very show, I like him because he's direct and he runs at defenders, and sooner or later that's going to have a big impact. It did have a big impact.
And Batshuayi, of course, had just missed.
Absolutely
Glaring.
We had classic Batshuayi, really.
We did.
That was
horrendous
miss.
Horrendous, yeah. But he took
and a brilliant goal.
The edge of the 6-yard box. He's absolutely lethal.
Well, he is. He's a goal scorer.
Yeah.
I liked his movement for that goal
as
well.
So did I.
You see, he is learning. He is getting better as well.
Yeah.
It's amazing when you consider how little game time he's had. He's not got the hump. The other thing I noticed, Tammy Abraham on the bench was absolutely ecstatic that Batshuayi scored.
He ran all that distance.
Do you know what, mate? We basically taught the Dutch total football that night.
In the Johan Cruyff Stadium.
And Tomori doing a Johan Cruyff turn and mugging that bloke. I don't even know who it was. I don't care. But I mean, oh mate.
And that was, you talk about the celebrations. That was brilliant at the end with Tomori and Zuma. It's so good. I kind of feel like everything we discussed at the start of the season as to why, and I said this before we came on air, as to why it could be the right appointment with Frank Lampard. We said he'd employ youngsters. We said he'd employ English youngsters. We said he'd give Chelsea an identity, which arguably the club hasn't had it in a while. All of that's borne fruit.
And he is such a terrific figure as well. The interviews he gives are just
lovely bloke.
It comes across as being that business during the week when the Dutch guy said,
"Are you scared? Are you scared?"
He said, "No, it's my face." He said, "No, it's my face. It's just my face."
My face.
It's my face. No, he isn't Dutch. Yeah.
He should have gone all Steve McLaren. Steve McLaren.
Okay. And lastly on this game, chaps.
Yes.
VAR, are we going to discuss
Well, it's brilliant. I mean, how can anybody ever criticise VAR again? I mean, clearly proven to be absolutely what a load of nonsense.
I mean,
mate.
he's unfortunate there, Prime, isn't he? Absolutely
he's still
crazy.
Offside, though.
But so the law needs to change in that respect.
But we've said we can't have it both ways, mate.
I don't want it both ways. I want it that way.
Yeah, but no, I have argued all the time, as has Matt, that giving people offside for a millimetre is fraud.
It was a foot.
It was not a foot.
It was his foot.
It was a foot.
Yeah, exactly.
But it wasn't not in
millimetres.
distance. It was.
There are. I mean, here's the thing: when they're checking on TV, you've got issues here with frame rates, which jump. You are not seeing what we see with our eyes. You're only seeing a fraction of what we see with our eyes, so you cannot judge precisely, 100% accurately, when the player moved in relation to when the ball was kicked. So it's not infallible.
Yeah, but they've got to be consistent, though, haven't they?
Yeah, they can't
say, we'll give him a couple of inches.
They should make it clear daylight between them. The rules need to change. If you're gonna judge offsides on VAR, then I think you need to change the offside rule.
Well,
because it's making a mockery.
They changed the offside law, didn't they, before to make it level? Because before it was you just need to be the other side of the player to deliberately give the advantage to the goal scorer, so there'd be more goals. So in this instance, if there are being less goals,
it's giving the advantage to the
defender. They should change the law. I agree with you.
Because if I don't have problems with the technology per se. What I have problems with is the way that it's being judged and used by the referees, which has no consistency whatsoever. And I do have a problem when in a human sport, which is dealing with real time incidents, to judge somebody offside by a millimetre just seems just so unbelievably draconian. That's the trouble. It's no margin
where
for
they draw
error.
the line. I'm happy. I'm happy with it. And
you and I love cricket.
Yeah.
They allow for that in cricket, don't they? In the umpire's call, and when the ball hits the stump, I think it has to be more than half of the ball has to be in line with the stump or something. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, then that's judged by the machine. But yeah, if
it allows for a margin of error.
Yeah, if he's given the call, the umpire, then and he says it's out and it hits the wicket, it's been seen. Yes, it's out. We know what we're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, you're allowing for human interaction with it and a margin for error, and I think that's right. I mean, a millimetre offside. I mean, that's just so. How as a player do you judge? Oh, I better time my run so I'm not a millimetre offside. You can't do that. It's insane.
You can't. It is absolutely ridiculous.
You
and like
football,
you say,
you know that.
You don't want it either way. That's not how you want to win games. However,
I do.
I'll take it.
Well. Okay.
I'll take it.
You'll take it, but
they hit the post too. We were lucky, on occasion.
They did.
No doubt.
2 occasions, that's all.
Okay, only 2 occasions we were lucky. Yeah. Exactly.
Well, it is Burnley this Saturday, of course. Tomorrow night, the 5:30 p.m. kickoff. Delighted to say we've got Chris Bowden from the Burnley Express, the sports editor there, on the line now. Chris, I believe my good friend Stamford Chidge has provided me with some stats that it's been 46 years since Chelsea last lost a top-flight encounter at Turf Moor. Frank Casper on that day, a goal in the final 10 minutes or so. Are we going to see the same tomorrow or not?
It's a tough one. It's a strange one because Burnley they've tended to get the better results against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge for one reason or another. But I think everyone will snap your hands off at Burnley if you could give them a victory tomorrow. But if Chelsea turn it on, Burnley are going to have a job on their hands, aren't they?
Yeah, you're right there, actually, Chris. Do you know what? Here's the thing. What I'm astonished by, I mean, before one goes into a match with Burnley, your preeminent thought is, "Goal, this will be tough." They'll stick everybody at set pieces. They'll elbow, kick. scrap, bully, intimidate, and we'll probably buckle and we'll lose. But that's not the case. Our record up at Turf Moor, as Matt was saying, is really, really good. I mean, last year we won 4-0, and that was with Sarri.
Yeah.
I mean, it's bizarre, and I think there's a bit of a myth. And I mean, fair play to Burnley, actually, and I'm sure you do play on this to an extent. But there's a myth, isn't there, about going up to Burnley and playing and coming back black and blue and beaten, frankly.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you look, Burnley's record against the sides outside the established Big Six is fabulous, and it's why they're in the Premier League for the 5th year out of 6.
Yeah.
But as you say, they have had results against the Big Six. They've drawn the last 3 years at United. They've picked up a point at City, beaten City at home. They've beaten Chelsea away and drawn at home, drawn away. They've drawn at Wembley against Spurs. They've beaten Spurs at home last year, and so on and so forth. Like I say, as a block of results, I'm 75 against the Big Six. That win against Spurs. That's going back to the start of the 2017-18 when they won at Stamford Bridge. But you say it's not so much a myth. I think they do come away from these games. Liverpool won 3-0 the other week, and it wasn't a 3-0 game.
The 3 defeats this season have all been to top 4 sides, haven't they? Yeah. But you've done well about the others, as you say.
In all three, you could probably say got something at Arsenal. I mean, they did get something at Leicester last week, but were ruled out by
VAR.
But
disgraceful, mate. I watched it. Disgraceful. Hate VAR. Apart from when it works for us.
That was just a nonsense in that decision. You're looking at, is it a clear and obvious error that the referees missed, an unintentional, inadvertent clip from Chris Wood? Did Johnny Evans clip himself? You can't tell. You can watch it back and forward 100 times. You can't tell what's happened.
Yeah, Chris, a quick word on Danny Drinkwater. I know he's not going to play at the weekend, but what's the feeling like up there with regards to that low move so far?
I expect.
It's been a bit of a disaster, hasn't it?
It's well, as you say, it's not gone to plan, to say the least. So far, he's had to work to get up to a level of fitness. He played in the Carabao Cup against Sunderland and looked a class act.
Chris, he actually played a game.
Yeah.
What happened?
I mean, he looked a class act in the first half. Burnley were they were 1-up. Then he gave a sloppy little pass and. Sunderland equalised on half time. Burnley were awful second half, and we've not seen him since. Obviously, the nightclub incident, and I think the manager handled that very sensibly. He wasn't getting carried away, nothing knee jerk, but he's still. We're hoping he'll be back full training next week. But he's the type of player Burnley. When you heard about the signing, you thought that's just a perfect move for Burnley.
I thought so. Yeah, he's a decent player, mate. He really, I feel really awful for him. I think it's just
really
so
trying
sad
at the beginning of the season because he played in the pre-season, didn't he?
Yeah,
he seemed to be making an effort when they were all being given a chance. They were all out there for the showcase. So you thought, I don't think he played terribly well.
I think his surname's a bit of a misnomer, though. I don't think he just drinks water. That's all I'm saying.
But it's that ability. I mean, Burnley play forward to the front too quickly, and he can do that. He obviously did that in that Leicester side that won the Premier League.
Yeah, exactly.
He's the type of midfielder Burnley need, really.
Scored a brilliant goal for us against Stoke. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I think I was with you that day.
You were, yeah. He just followed it. Yeah.
We had a good view of that, didn't we?
Yeah.
Sorry, because we digress. We're wandering off into moments of nostalgia.
My view at Turf Moor is that you play much more expansively at Turf Moor. It's when you play away. I think it's no coincidence that when you played at the Bridge that you play a much more contained defensive type of tactics, which are slightly involved with the dark arts, and
I've got no problem with dark arts, Chris.
But there's a lot of almost amount of lying around injured last year. I remember, and lots of when you thought I don't think he's been tackled at all. But
not that Jonathan harbours a grudge or anything.
No. But I remember I kept saying, for God's sake, you haven't been touched. Get up, for God's sake. Whereas it doesn't happen at Turf Moor ever because you always seem to try and play. Well, obviously you're the home teams.
I think Burnley have got quality. Again, I think is another myth. This is no like Bolton. It's a bit like
I have to
Bolton.
say, I like Wood immensely.
It's
I
a
think
bit like Bolton.
Wood's a fab player.
A bit like
Bloody
Bolton under Big Sam. Everybody just thought they used to lump it up Route 1, but he had some quality players and they played good football. I think, Chris, that's the same with Burnley, actually. They've got some good players. Wood, Barnes, as we said.
They play to suit. If they can hurt you by playing through you, they will do. If they can hurt you by playing over you, or around you, or set pieces, or if they ram it down your throat and you can't handle it. That's
I mean, Ashley Barnes is annoying because he scores some fabulous goals. You think, God, but all at the same time you just think, ugh.
He tried to kill Matic.
He did.
I've never forgiven him for that.
No,
But I tell you what, though, when it comes to Burnley, there are three things I like about Burnley. I'll do them in reverse order. One is Eccles cakes. One is black pudding, and the top one is Sam Dicchio. I think he's brilliant. Sam Dicchio. Where did that come? Sean Dicchio. Sorry, Deitch. Because I think he's brilliant. I love Sean Dyche.
I like the fact that he's always hoarse at the end of every game.
But I just love him. I think he's a very, very, very good and very clever manager, Sean Dyche.
His voice doesn't change. Before the game, during the game, after the game.
Oh, really? I always thought he had a normal voice at the beginning. I suppose we don't hear him at the beginning, do we? Only hear him at the end. You always think, God, he's been shouting a lot.
Brilliant. I mean, I think he's perfect for Burnley in a way. But I mean, and I don't mean to be rude and say he should leave. But I mean, do you think he's, he it sounds awful saying this, Chris. I don't mean to sound awful, but do you think he deserves a shot at a top 4 club? Let's say, I think he's more than capable of doing it. Actually,
I think he is, but I don't think. I think there's a level of snobbery in the game, and I don't think he'd necessarily get a top 4, top 6 club. I think he'd have to make a step, maybe. But what's the step now? I think Burnley are sort of. Conceivably, I think they can finish top 10 again.
I hope he stays at Burnley for your sake, because I think he's perfect for Burnley, and I think he does a great job there.
I think he also chooses really good players from the transfer market as well. So,
indeed, Chris, it's been great having you on, boss. Just before you go, a quick score prediction.
Oh, good grief! I'll take a point, but it's one of those games tomorrow. It could literally, could be anything. Yeah, could be anything.
Agree with that.
Absolutely, Chris. Thanks for joining us, mate.
Thank you, mate. Thanks. Cheers, good fun. Thank you.
That was Chris Bowden of the Burnley Express, the sports editor there. We're going to look ahead to that game tomorrow and talk a bit more about Sean Dicchio.
Giving your team a voice. Love Sport Radio. The Novotel London Blackfriars, the official hotel partner of Love Sport. Located just minutes away from the city and London's famous South Bank. You can kick back and taste the flavours of the world at the Jamboree Bar and Grill and enjoy all the sights of London in style. The Novotel London Blackfriars.
You all right, mate?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah? Really? It's just there's a massive grizzly bear sitting on you. You sure you're okay?
Well, now that you mention it.
Sometimes we say we're fine when we're not, but with 1 in 4 experiencing a mental health problem, if your mate says he's fine, he might not be. Be in your mate's corner and ask twice. Time to change.
It's cancer, they said. My first thought, let's just say it wasn't money, but time off work for treatment and trips to the hospital, paying the mortgage, and the cost of living doesn't go away just because you're living with cancer, and Macmillan can help with that too. My advice? Take their advice. Soon as. I did.
Macmillan, right there with you. Call now or search Macmillan Money Worries.
Don't get caught out by rising energy bills this year. Leading price comparison site A Spokesman Said can help you save money in just minutes. Plus, sign up to A Spokesman Said to get the latest super cheap collective energy deals. These offers are such great value, they aren't even available direct from the energy companies. Savvy customers have saved over £10 million from collective energy deals. Go to aspokesmansaid.com and you could be saving big money on your bills.
With aspokesmansaid.com, fighting for you, saving you money.
Whoa! Look how much saturated fat is in these chocolate biscuits. It's surprising how much is in our food and drinks. For us kids, eating too much saturated fat can lead to harmful fat building up inside, which we can't see, increasing the risk of heart disease or stroke when we get older. So be food smart. Download the free Change for Life food scanner app and start making healthier choices today.
Love Sport.
It's the Chelsea Fan Show on Love Sport. Me, Matt Beadle, here with the boys from the Chelsea Fancast, Stanford Chidge and Jonathan Kidd. We just spoke to Chris Bowden there, the sports editor of
What
the
a nice
Burnley
man.
Express. Very nice man.
Nice man. Very nice man, Jonathan.
Yeah, reminds me of an advert that used to be on TV many moons
He
ago.
wasn't in that one.
No, he wasn't in that one.
It's in the sand.
But just Sean Dicio, was that a joke that I missed? Or?
Yes, it was. I'm sorry. You just got to keep up, Matt. Keep
For
up.
a second, I thought I was like, is he talking about Danny Dicio?
Because Sam Allardyce always used to say,
sure.
You know what? If I was called Sam Allardyce, I'd probably be managing a top 4 club. But I'm not. I'm Sam Allardyce. And I won't have it. And I drink pints of wine. That's probably why I do.
That's uncanny.
He's actually from Dudley, so I don't know why I'm giving him a northwest
like
accent.
that, isn't he?
Yes, Big Sam
from
Dudley. And his pint of wine. White wine, mind. I've gone northern again. Move on.
Easily done.
Well, we're going up north tomorrow.
We are.
Turf Moor, of course. Great stadium, by the way.
I love
it up there.
I love Turf
Absolutely
Moor.
love it.
Possibly the
Full of
coldest
character.
place in the world.
Oh, it's cold.
Yeah.
Although, actually, I believe statistically, on record, the coldest football ground in England is Boundary Park, Oldham.
Yeah.
It's the highest.
No,
I think.
West Brom's the highest.
Is it? Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is weird. Why is how did the Hawthorns get to be the highest? But it is.
The away stand at Craven Cottage with the wind coming off the river is absolutely brass monkeys. That really is.
Actually, the coldest what's the coldest you've ever been at a football ground?
Weirdly, at Fulham. I covered it for a TV programme I was working on. I was sitting just above the dugout when, what's his name? Used to be Sanchez. Laurie Sanchez was the manager. He looked like one of the Cray twins, I always thought. I think he modelled himself on them. I did shout a few things, actually, which I shouldn't have done.
I enjoyed him as a manager.
In the media. And, it was so cold. I said to the cameraman, I said, mate, I can't stand this anymore. Let's go to the press box, which is under the Johnny Haynes stand.
Yeah.
And sat and drank cocoa and watched Sky Sports News because I actually really wanted to know what the Chelsea score was. I didn't know what I was doing. Funnily enough, they were playing Bolton in a Carling Cup match or something.
Well, do you know what's funny? You mentioned
It
Laurie
was
Sanchez.
really cold, mate. Really cold.
So he was the manager at the coldest game I think I've ever attended in England. Yeah, Springfield Park, Wigan's old ground. Springfield Park, wasn't it? It was absolute, and I just remember trying back in the day. You know when they used to serve like cups of tea in those like beige coloured, like tiny little plastic. Horrendous. I remember just wrapping.
Because they were so hot. It would be perfect.
Awful. But I think the coldest, just to finish this one, is Kansas City, Sporting Kansas against Houston Dynamos, an MLS playoff game. Freezing.
Well, I wasn't there, but it's on record, and people who listen to us every week will remember this. But when we played Burnley a few Februarys ago, and it snowed as well, and I've got people there who said they've never been that cold in their life.
Really?
That was a cold one.
It's tough.
Yeah.
If the game's good,
I do
it's
know
all right.
people who, when we played Copenhagen.
Wonderful.
No, it wasn't. It was wonderfully chilly.
Oh, okay.
It was really cold out there. I remember that one. Yeah. Anyway, we digress.
We do digress again for about the third or fourth time on tonight's
We'll talk about
show.
some football in the end.
Yeah, so fella, I mean, we've heard from Chris.
We have.
What are your thoughts going into the game?
Well, I mean, we kind of said really everything we need to say about the Burnley context there. But I mean, I think from our point of view, Frank made a point of this in the presser today. You know, it will be a really tough match. It will be a completely different set of circumstances and styles that we had in Ajax Amsterdam. And of course, they haven't had a lot of recovery time, which is the point that he made. I tell you what, I'm worried about, Jonathan. I'm worried about the fact that a lot of these players are because of the injuries that we've got, are having to play every game.
Really burn themselves out.
Well, and of course, it's a bit like, when Klopp first introduced the Gegenpress to Liverpool, and they would run out of steam before the end of the season. Now, I know these kids are young, but they are all working incredibly hard.
Unbelievably
When
so.
Mount comes off that pitch after a game, he's spent.
He took Willian off in the game because he was
Willian
exhausted.
too, you know.
He didn't take him off because he was. And you talk about
exhausted.
the tactical substitution. One of the reasons that Pulisic replaced Willian was because Willian was on his knees.
He was spent, but they're putting it in, and we're just a bit blighted by a lot of injuries at the moment, and I hope that doesn't take its toll. Be really interesting to see who he plays, because I don't think he has much choice other than to play pretty much everybody he played on Wednesday and last Saturday, unless they're absolutely injured.
It was interesting what you said initially when we discussed the fact that he might have played.
Will he choose Pulisic to start?
Yeah, that's a distinct possibility. But also, we were saying that Giroud and Pedro were the experienced players, and he might give them a go in the European Cup tie. And no, he did.
Well, no,
he did exactly. You said that at the time.
I said he'd pick the strongest team he has available.
And I said no, he'll pick the team that won at the weekend because that's the team that are implementing.
No, I said that.
Implementing. You said the opposite, Chidge. You said.
I did.
You said El Beadle.
Don't you put
and Pedro.
Maybe I said that to somebody else then. I'm speak to so many people, Jonathan.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so diminished in your presence. Yeah.
Womp, womp, womp.
You're just one of thousands, Jonathan. Oh, okay. Thank you.
And also, I suppose you're going to have to watch the chair. You're going to have to also consider that there is a clash in midweek as well. In the EFL Cup, I believe it's. So is that insignificant in the grand scheme of things?
It's only you lot. We only need to put out the fourth team.
But how are you viewing that in your season?
I think he'll persist with the best team.
I agree.
think. Yeah.
The thing is,
he doesn't want to get rid of the rhythm, the whole process at the moment.
And I think you and I would both agree on this point. Frank Lampard likes to win. He's a winner. He will go into every match trying to win it because that's how he played as a player. Frank, as you will know, hardly ever got injured at Chelsea. I think he's got one of the Premier League records for match consistency, playing in every match. He's a winner. He wants to win, and I don't think you will not get Frank tinkering. I think he'll tinker maybe occasionally if it's a tactical issue, or he'll if they're fit, his best side plays. If they're not fit, he brings other people in. And then he'll bring other people on the bench to change it if he needs to. And I think that's what we're beginning to see.
But we've yet to see them being able to slow a game down and stop the opposition from playing. There was a touch of that in the Southampton game.
And there was a touch of that.
Kept giving the ball away, though.
Yeah, I think they did. They were clever against Ajax. The way they kept the ball, that was the key to it.
I felt that was more to it, rather than just doing sitting back in your own half and having the ball booted down the pitch as Mourinho used to do. And it all became a little bit...
Difficult indeed. And actually, just to finish on Lampard, because I think he deserves the recognition that we always give him on the show. It is 6 straight wins for him, his best record. It says a lot about Frank Lampard, right? This isn't just any old ex-player who's gone into management. He took that time away from the game after he retired to really study the game. He got his badges, which he was doing beforehand. But he's intelligent. He knows his stuff.
And he's also amusing as well. He's from that family because Harry's amusing and even Jamie Redknapp's fun.
No, I don't. Jamie Redknapp's not funny.
Not funny. I just said fun. Yeah, but
I don't think Jamie Redknapp's
Can you differentiate fun and funny?
He's neither.
Yeah.
No. Disagreeing on that.
I can, but we're having a disagreement.
Nothing wrong with that.
Do you know what? I'll tell you something. Actually, I'll negate that entirely. I was at the Soho House having a nice time all afternoon.
When was that?
Oh, years ago with Michael Roban, funny enough, my LA Chelsea mate. Yeah. And we'd had a few, and we came out quite late, and Michael spotted Jamie Redknapp, who had been in Soho House and was about to get into a waiting cab, and Michael goes, "Hey, look, that's Harry Redknapp." And I'm like wetting myself, saying, no, that's Jamie. And he heard Jamie saw me going, no, man, that's Jamie Redknapp. And he was roaring with laughter, which I thought was fairly...
Oh, so he has got a sense of humour.
Yeah, he has really.
He appreciates fun. There we go. We can say that.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of plugs to get out, so...
Quickly, please do.
All right, obviously my big sleep out at Stamford Bridge on the 16th of November. I will be sleeping in the cold, dank environment of Stamford Bridge for charity, for 2 homeless charities, the Glassdoor charity and the Sir Oswald Stoll Foundation, who look after homeless people. It's all for homeless people. So if you want to sponsor me, I'd be very grateful. uk.virginmoneygiving.com/David Chidgey. And also, we have a brand new podcast,
Exciting
Matt.
stuff.
It is very exciting. Me and a guy called Martin King, who's been going to Chelsea forever and has written loads of books on Chelsea, have been interviewing lots of Chelsea legends from the 60s to present day, and we are releasing these as podcasts on the Podbean platform, which is chelseaspecial.podbean.com. We are charging a small fee for each one because it's cost us lots of money to do it, and we're paying the players. So.
And it will be 100% worth it. I've heard little snippets.
Yeah, they're good.
And I've got a single out called Eden Hazard, and it's on my website, jonathankidd.com.
Lovely stuff. Gents, it's been nothing but a pleasure. We will be back next week, reflecting. We haven't got time, I'm afraid. Chidge.
2-1.
Lovely stuff. Chelsea Fan Show. We'll see you next week.
This is Love Sport.
You all right, mate?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah? Really? It's just, there's a massive grizzly bear sitting on you. You sure you're okay?
Well, now that you mention it.
Sometimes we say we're fine when we're not. But with 1 in 4 experiencing a mental health problem, if your mate says he's fine, he might not be. Be in your mate's corner and ask twice. Time to change.
Full of skill. Full of flair. full